You know something, I like being right. I like being right, and I'm right quite often, even though I never get credit for it, and that's fine. You know, it kind of is what it is. I sort of expected that. Nobody cares because I just have a kind of a channel that's really kind of going nowhere. But anyway, you know, when it comes down to it, this is something that I predicted a long time ago, and people said I was crazy. They said it wouldn't matter because people don't care about stuff like this. But here we are in 2023, and obviously people do care about stuff like this, and it's been proven a fact now. And I want to get into it because this is very interesting, and I want to hear what everybody thinks. So we know that people kind of downplay backwards compatibility on Xbox, right? And these are mostly PlayStation fans, probably jealous because they don't have backwards compatibility the way that Xbox does. You know what I mean? Like Xbox Series X can play some original Xbox games, a bunch of Xbox 360 games, all pretty much Xbox One games. But I think the biggest thing that they got going for it is the ability to play the old Xbox 360 Call of Duty games, which recently had their servers and things like that fixed. It's basically the only way to play these classic masterpieces. And you know, I get it, like Call of Duty is still very popular, and you know, obviously Microsoft is going to own it and it's going to continue on. And you know, listen, people will always gravitate towards it. It's like a big pop culture phenomenon. Yes, there's going to always be like people that used to play it that don't play it anymore. I know people like that, right? I used to game with people that, and I don't even play the newer ones online that often anymore, but I love the older ones. And when they came back and they fixed the servers and things like that, I knew that this would happen, that it would do well. And I also said when these games all hit back compatibility, and when they all hit Game Pass, that we're going to see a huge influx of people on Game Pass. It has the ability to increase console sales for Xbox, and it has the ability to increase subscriptions for Xbox Game Pass. And people said I was crazy, nobody cared that much about a bunch of old games, but here we are. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 was the 4th best-selling game in the UK for all of July, and Modern Warfare 2 was number 5, the 2009 version. So this was according to Christopher Dring. He said, meanwhile, Red Dead Redemption 2 is number 3. The chart was transformed by the recent digital sales on PlayStation and Xbox platforms. So Red Dead Redemption 2, which, you know, that's a 2018 game. Yeah, 2018. Or 17. Yeah, 2017 game. So yeah, that's a 2017 game, and you know, so that's a 6-year-old game, but it was on sale recently, so that's why it kicked back up. But somebody asked if these are new copies for the Call of Duty games, because the supply would be finished. Obviously, you're not going to be able to go to a store and buy a physical copy of Call of Duty Black Ops 2. But he says that these are digital sales only on Xbox for these two. So digital sales only on Xbox for Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 2, and yet they both cracked the top 5 of the UK for the entirety of July, and this was because the servers were fixed and things like that. Now, I myself have been on these games, and the servers are packed, people are playing and having a good time. It's really wild to see that, and you know, people are kind of obviously going to look at this and kind of go, oh well, you know, how much of an increase would it have to have? Like, I don't know, like, I'm not saying I'm pushing sales or anything like that, but I'm saying what this does is it really dispels a myth that Microsoft honestly, you know, that their fans, Xbox fans and Xbox owners, won't buy console games. You know what I mean? Like, people say, oh, Xbox fans don't buy games, they don't do this, they don't do that. This pretty much dispels that. A couple of things, which is, one, Xbox owners do buy games, and two, people do want to play old games, right? Like, people keep kind of doubting this. Like, again, I guess if it's like, if you were stuck eating a turd sandwich, you would be, and you look over and somebody's eating, you know, a turkey sandwich, you're going to try to make it hype up your turd sandwich, right? Like, basically on PlayStation 5, you can't play PS3 games. That's Sony still paying for the asinine decision to use the chipset that they did with that. And so on the Xbox side, which, by the way, I'm sure that the Xbox developers and things like that could have probably got backwards compatibility with PS3 if the tables were turned. But, you know, they managed to get the ability to do the backwards compatibility, and it's really kind of paying off, and we're seeing like a big spike in, you know, we've actually seen some, I don't know exactly what the sales or anything were for like the console, but supposedly there was a lot more sales and things like that with it. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. I just think that it's a very smart thing that Microsoft did, like the forward-thinking ideas that they kind of go out there and use. And I think that that is incredibly smart on their part to do that, because, you know, people are going to always want to go back and play these games. And you go, oh, well, why would you want to play the old Call of Duty games if there's newer ones out there? And, you know, I always say that the reason why you want to do that is because these games are so much better. You know, this was at a time when these games weren't, this wasn't the normal thing, right? It was like they were still very inventive, and you go back and play them. Like, I love the first Black Ops Online. I think Modern Warfare 2. I actually like Call of Duty 4 better online, but, you know, I know a lot of people really gravitated towards Modern Warfare 2, and I think that, you know, that's kind of a smart thing. But again, to see that people are like buying these, and, you know, kind of the way that they're supporting this feature, I think that that's great. And clearly, you know, Microsoft is going to continue to, you know, support their fans and things like that with these types of announcements. So yeah, I think that's pretty damn cool. I love to see that. And you know what, listen, Microsoft still, like I said, they have a long way to go to prove to some people that, you know, they have good intentions, or that they can release quality content, you know, time and time again. But then again, I think we're already starting to see that happening right now, because again, at the end of the day, you know, Microsoft has so much to kind of go out there and prove. And, you know, people, and listen, like, even though I'm an Xbox fan, I'll be the first to admit that, hey, you know what, it makes sense for them to have to earn your trust, because I think that they did do such a kind of a piss poor job back in the day with winning over people and their trust. So, you know, like I said, we'll see what happens. You know, I'm excited by what's going on, and hopefully you guys are too, because again, at the end of the day, this is what's most important, is that Microsoft continues to deliver great content, and continues to not only do great content, but continue to give us things that you know, nobody else has, or nobody else can actually get out there and do. And I think that's where this kind of comes from, because, you know, no matter how much Sony wants to do this kind of thing, they just really honestly can't, you know. So honestly, that's just one of the things that they're going to have to deal with. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, though. Are you guys surprised by this at all? Are you guys not surprised? I think personally, seeing some people, you know, the usual damage control when I bring this up on social media. Oh, well, Xbox fans don't have anything else to play. Well, you know what? Listen, they have all the same third-party stuff that Sony has. You know, Sony hasn't had a first-party release in God knows when. And, you know, they're in the middle of a pretty big drought in terms of first-party stuff, and apparently Final Fantasy wasn't it for third-party stuff. So, you know, I think they're both kind of in the same boat, playing the multi-plats for right now. Obviously, Starfield launching in a few weeks, but, you know, when we look at this and we go, okay, well, Microsoft has done a really good job of making sure people always have something to play. I think that is the big edge over what Sony has. So, I don't know, maybe you feel differently than me, but pretty interesting stuff. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy the content, I'm Crab Gamer. This has been Crab Gamer Reviews. Have a great day. Rack 'em up. Crab Gamer out.